Two-time and reigning collegiate national champion bareback rider Weston Timberman can now add Resistol Rookie of the Year to his growing resume. Although nothing is official quite yet, big wins at the Ponoka Stampede, Pendleton Round-up, and the inaugural North Dakota Roughrider Cup set the Columbus, Montana cowboy apart as the lone rookie to qualify in the bareback riding at this year's National Finals Rodeo with $154,000 won at the end of the regular season. Weston, thanks for making time for us and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. I'm excited.
Again, nothing's official until December, but as the number 7 cowboy in the PRCA world standings and only rookie to qualify in the bareback riding this year, you're about to join a very special group of athletes as the 2024 Resistol Rookie of the Year. How long has this been a particular goal of yours, and how does it make you feel to be as part of such an elite group of bareback riders?
It's super exciting, I think bareback riding, the competition's about as stout as it's ever been, so to be able to not only make the finals but win Rookie of the Year on top of that, it's a super cool thing to do. Rookie of the Year has been something that I've always thought was a very cool thing to accomplish, but coming into this year, it wasn't necessarily the main goal. The main goal for me was to make the finals, and I just figured Rookie of the Year would fall into place. So I'm super grateful that it all worked out that way, and I'm sitting where I'm at.
So, with the finals as your end goal, how did you approach this year after a strong showing on your permit in 2023? And how did you feel like that game plan played out? What were some of the highs and lows that you had this year?
Oh man, I mean, every rodeo season comes with highs and lows. I think that if I didn't have my traveling partner Sam Peterson, I don't know if I'd be where I'm at. Coming into my rookie year, I didn't really know what I was doing, where we were going to go entering wise, and how things were going to play out. Rodeo in a whole year hard like we did. So everything was just so new to me coming into this year. He just kind of helped guide along maybe a little bit and entered us and all that good fun stuff. And I wish he could be at the finals because he deserves it probably as much as I do. But
How did you and Sam get linked up together to travel together? Is this someone you've grown up with or through college rodeo? And, what are some of the things you guys like to do on the road when you're not rodeoing?
yeah, for sure. Me and Sam, we've known each other since we were little kids. Both from Montana, growing up, doing like the junior rodeos and stuff like that. But we kept it light and fun during the off time. We never took the time too serious. So if we ever had any off time, we'd go find a place to go swim in, like maybe go find a cliff to jump off of, or find a cool attraction. Not too many people get to go see the country as much as we do. So when we were in cool parts of the country, we would just go find that kind of that maybe touristy spot a little bit that's tucked back that nobody really knows about, and kind of just go enjoy the day.
You sound like a guy that likes to live in the moment. So, were you one that would follow the world standings or even the rookie race throughout the year, or did you take it more one ride at a time? What was that approach throughout the season?
I'll be honest, I checked it probably more than I like to admit, but I'd tell myself that it didn't matter. I mean, it the standings don't really matter until like the last month of the season. Like there's so much that can happen and all that, and so yeah, I mean, I probably checked it more than I want to admit, but yeah, it didn't bother me or matter to me too much until kind of that final push at the end of the season, and but at that point I was feeling pretty secure in my spot, and then I just finished it off with Pendleton and then Mandan, and worked out really good for me.
So, you mentioned that keeping track and keeping up with that didn't really affect you. No matter how good it's going, the PRCA regular season is long. How do you handle the mental side of competing and keep a good mindset day in and day out while you're on the road?
Oh yeah, for sure. Mindset's the biggest thing, especially in bareback riding. I'd like to think, and you just have to understand that every day is a new horse. I mean, a lot of people say that, but it's there's some truth behind it. Every time you get on, it's a new horse, it's a new ride, it's new money added. So you're gonna have lows. I mean, it's a full year of rodeo, and it's not gonna go your way every single time. So if you really get caught up and let that bother you, it's gonna show up in your riding. So the big thing for me was just to move forward. I just tried to forget about anything bad that happened and just truly put it behind me and not worry about it, because I knew that I had the opportunity to fix it the next day. And that's the blessing about pro rodeo, especially. You might mess up something and do something that you don't normally do on one horse, but you get the opportunity to go fix it the day after. So I kind of used it as a blessing more than a curse.
You said it yourself. There are so many talented guys going down the road anymore. The last 5 rookies of the year in the bareback riding all qualified for this year's national finals. Now that you've been around some of those guys and know what it took for you to accomplish what you have this year, what do you think sets those individuals apart so early in their career? Are they necessarily the most talented or best physically, plain and simple? Or is there a common superior mental game that sets those folks apart at such a young age? And if so, what does that look like? Who are some of the ones you look up to for their mental game? And, who would you say has the best one going down the road right now?
It's actually kind of funny you say that. So early in the season, we had the rookie roundup there in Fort Worth, and we sat down Cole Reiner as actually one of the guys that kind of like interviewed us, or he was a broadcaster or something, and he was talking to the group, us as all rookies as a group, and he's like, "So who's going to carry on the tradition?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "There's been a rookie make the finals every year for a good little while now, so somebody's going to have to step up and carry that on." So it was kind of funny. It's something that I kind of thought about throughout the season. Was I was like, man, I'm gonna be the guy that doesn't. I'm not gonna let that tradition down. But I think that mindset is definitely what sets apart those guys that not even. I mean, the top 30 to the top 15 guys. The difference between those guys is mainly their mindset, and I think that's the biggest part.
Bareback riding is quite literally in your blood. Your Uncle Kelly was the 2004 World Champion Bareback Rider. Your father, Chris, a Dodge National Circuit Finals champion. Talk to me about growing up with not only that kind of talent and success to look up to, but the knowledge at your disposal and support you have in your corner.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a blessing. Not too many people get to say that they grew up, with a world champion in their corner. So it's super blessed for that aspect of it. And then same with my dad. Without those two, I really wouldn't be where I'm at. And the big thing like that they've taught me is not only riding. Like, of course, they drilled the fundamentals into me once they knew that I wanted to be a bareback rider. Um, but like the big thing that they taught me about was, how to go about rodeo and how to um the business aspect of it, because it's a judged event. You can only do so much with just your talent. It's not just that it's a judged event. So they really taught me the whole aspect of rodeo, and I'm super thankful for that. And I think that it's something that's helped me kind of set myself apart from other people.
Did you ever want to be anything other than a professional bareback rider?
No, I did not know. When I was a kid, I mean, I don't even remember them, but my birthday wishes, my birthday's on the 4th of July, just right in the heat of the summer. And so growing up, apparently my birthday wish was to always go rodeo with my dad and Uncle Kelly. And so, yeah, ever since growing up, that's the only thing that I could think about doing. I don't know what else I'd do.
Growing up in such a strong rodeo family, were there any rodeos that you just couldn't wait to compete in as a kid? And, how did those live up to your expectations now that you've been on the road for a full year?
You got the big name ones that you always watch growing up, like Calgary and Cheyenne and stuff like that. Those are always the cool ones. But then some of the really fun ones for me that kind of stuck out in my mind that I was super excited to go to was like the little hometown rodeos, like Red Lodge, Montana. It's just down the road from my house. And then like there's like a Thousand Added Rodeo in Augusta, Montana. And they're just little rodeos, but those were some of my favorite ones to finally get to compete at, because they're the true essence of what rodeo is. I mean, they're just those small town 4th of July weekend rodeos that everybody shows out to, and it's just such a fun time, and the camaraderie is there with everybody, and it's super cool, and those are probably the ones I was most excited to compete at.
I think it's neat that you mentioned some of those smaller local type rodeos that you've grown up, those are just something that everyone around you went to all the time. Over the years, there's been more than a handful of exceptional rough stock riders come out of the northern states. Why do you think that is? What sets the Cowboys from this region apart? And aside from your dad and uncle, who do you remember looking up to as a young bareback rider from Montana?
I remember looking up to Caleb Bennett and like J.R. Zane. I remember those guys traveled together when I was just a young man. But I remember they kind of knew my Uncle Kelly and my dad as they were in kind of my stage of their career. Those guys would stop at our house, on the fourth run, and they would come in at like midnight, crash out on the couch downstairs, and then wake up. My dad would have breakfast made for them. They'd make breakfast and then head out. And they were super cool with me. And so I've always kind of really looked up to Caleb and JR like that. And then especially with Caleb, like getting able to go out there and rodeo with him a little bit this summer and kind of pick his mind, it's been super cool and a blessing.
I see the shirt you have on. Back in 2023, you won the average of the CNFR by over 10 points as a freshman. This past June, you returned to Casper and successfully defended that title as a sophomore for Clarendon. Are you college rodeoing at all anymore, or just decided to pro rodeo full time? What's that look like for you?
No, I figured I'd win two of them and then call it. I didn't feel the need to go back. I wasn't benefiting from it if I went back or anything. Uh, so yeah, no, I'm not going to college anymore. Just professional rodeo. And I went down there last week and got on some practice horses. I'm still super close with the coach, and all the boys down there and everything. And it's a great program. And yeah.
Well, the professional 2024 regular season closed at the end of September. Looking back, what was your most memorable or favorite ride this year? And what's one horse you want another shot at?
Oh man. So I think one of the most memorable moments is obviously probably maybe Pendleton. Winning that on your rookie year is a super cool thing to do. So I would say probably my most memorable moment this year was when I won Pendleton and kind of secured my spot at the finals. And then the horse that I'd want to get back was, I mean, I got on a horse at Powder Rivers called Juice Box, and he's just a 5-year-old, and he's probably the biggest horse I've ever been on. Like he's gigantic, and I got on him in Plains, Montana, and this horse had one of the best trips he's ever had. And he's super freaking cool and gigantic, and I my hand blew out at just like about 7 seconds, and he kind of knocked me out and this and that, and it just sucked because that was one of those ones that I let slip that could have been a pile. I could have been a lot of points on, and it kind of sucked. And I'd really like to get that one back, get some redemption on him.
If you could handpick any horse to get on in Vegas, would that still be the one, or what horse would you choose?
Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't even. He's such a young horse. He won't be at the finals this year. I'm sure we'll see him there eventually. But if I had to handpick horses at the finals, you got to look at the list of horses and understand that it's crazy how even each pen is every night. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. I'm just excited to go, and I feel like I have an opportunity to win on every horse that is there at the finals. But I mean, of course, I want to get on Virgil. I mean, that's something that I've dreamt about for a long time now, and I think that getting him in Vegas would be. I think I could get if I get the stars to align. I think we could do some big things with Virgil.
That'd be pretty cool. Being on the road all summer definitely takes its toll on a body. Did you have any significant injuries, or how are you feeling at the end of the regular season? And now, how are you preparing physically for your first national finals?
Yeah, no, I was super blessed with my health this year. Everything stayed pretty intact. I had some groin problems early on in the season, and then some wrist problems kind of right there in the middle of the season, but nothing too significant. Nothing to really make me stop rodeo and have to heal up. And then, of course, towards the end of the season, I blew out in Plains, Montana, and kind of tore my knee up a little bit doing that. But everything going into the finals right now is just making sure my body's back at 100% with my knee and my wrist and my groin and everything like that. And then just kind of keeping myself in riding shape. Like I don't want to get to a point where I'm not using those muscles that you normally use when you ride, because there is certain muscle groups that only get used when you ride, and there's no other way to.
So does that mean you already mentioned going back to Clarendon to get on some horses? Are you getting on horses consistently? Are you wanting to just right before you go? What does that look like?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna get on horses as much as we do throughout the summer. Not back to back to back every day. But yeah, no, like I had said previously, I did go down to Clarendon and got on some practice horses, just kind of keep myself active and not really lose that touch. I don't want to go a long time without getting on horses. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be kind of consistent, especially from here on out, where I'll be getting on probably maybe once a week, kind of around that area.
Being just 20 years old, have you been to Las Vegas before, or is that going to be another first for you?
No, I went. I mean, I've been there previously when I was a little kid, with my Uncle Kelly. I obviously don't remember that. And then, like, I went last year on my permit for the permit challenge that they have at the South Point. But no, I haven't stepped foot in that arena in a very long time. So it'll be very new to me to see that. And that was kind of my goal, growing up. I was like, I'm not going to look at them buck and shoots or see them buck and shoots until I've earned my spot to be inside them buck and shoots. And so, I'm excited to be able to get there and kind of take it all in, and I'm excited that I made it. But I'm past the point of excitement. I'm just ready to get that first round kicked off and get to work.
So has it hit you yet that you're finally going to get to crawl down in the chutes at the Thomas and Mack? Or, when was that aha moment if you hadn't had it yet? When do you think that's going to hit, you know?
No, I definitely had that aha moment, and it came later than I expected. I thought I had the aha moment, but I didn't. And I just remember when I was driving. I can't remember where it was, but I was just driving throughout the night somewhere after the season, not too long ago, and the Crystal Dew song came on. One Ride in Vegas. It's about a rookie making the finals, and all he ever wanted was just one ride in Vegas, and it just kind of hit me, and I was like, kind of leaned back, and I was like, holy crap! Like I've listened to that song forever, and it's kind of hitting, and then that was definitely my aha moment, and then I kind of did. I was like driving, I was like, oh my gosh, I just had I had the moment.
That's pretty cool. Well, you're certainly in striking distance of season leader Rocker Steiner with almost 31,000 up for grabs each night, more than 78,000 for the average. Do you have any sort of game plan going into this? Or, with that kind of money getting paid out, is there any safetying up for the sake of the average? Or do you look at it like 10, 30,000 one headers?
Like the biggest challenge with winning the world every year is making the finals. That's the biggest challenge to winning the world title. And so now that I have that accomplished and I'm at the finals, really anybody that wants it bad enough can win the world title, but yeah, no, I even if I did want to hold back, I think that I would get. I think I'm. I don't think it's possible. I don't think that I'm going to be able to get in them bucket shoots and hold back any less than I did all summer. So if anything, it's probably going to be even more. Like I said, this is the most healthy I've been all summer. So I'll be going in as healthy as I've ever been, and just as eager too. So especially when that first round hits, like it's gonna be fireworks, and I'm excited.
Well, you've proven your ability on big stages time and time again. So I'm sure we're going to see nothing but big things from you. Weston, thanks again for sitting down with us. Best of luck at your first of hopefully many national finals rodeos.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.